Hi loves! Welcome to a reading today about your most beloved traits. We have 3 piles to pick from today. With pile 1 we have strawberry quartz and scales. Keep your life in balance. Pile 2 we have blood jasper with bull. Do not back down from opposition. Show strength and fortitude. In pile 3, we have blue goldstone, protection from a powerful friend. So pick whichever one you're drawn to, whether it's by the crystal or by the tea leaf card, and let's get right into it. Hi pile 1s, if you picked strawberry quartz and the scales, this is going to be a reading today. I'm going to be shuffling on camera, but if you wish to skip this part, please feel free to do so. I'll leave the timestamp in the description. So I'm going to start with one super attractor. Next is the White Light Oracle. Sacred Feminine Oracle. I like to use a lot of different decks in my readings. I just like the variation and all the different artwork you get to sort of connect together in the reading. And of course the messages. One's most beloved traits. This is the Moonology Manifestation Oracle cards. Pile 1's most beloved traits. That's a bit too many. Let's just get one of these, please. Pile 1's most beloved traits. And this is the Les Vampires deck. Pile 1's most beloved traits. maybe 4 more tea leaf cards just to help with the reading. One's most beloved traits. There's too many. Okay, so pile number 1, we've shuffled your cards. Now let's get straight into it. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about strawberry quartz from what I have read online. Now I've written down a couple of notes. So strawberry quartz is meant to facilitate self-discovery and spiritual awakening, which I find really nice. It balances negative emotions and enhances the flow of loving energy. So that sort of reminded me a little bit like pink quartz, which was one of my first stones actually. But when I went and got these stones, I didn't really read. Usually they have like a little description card with them, but I didn't really read into them because I wanted to just intuitively pick them for you guys. So let's look at the cards and see how they play into them. So we have needle and thread, a sincere wish will be granted. Target, a goal-oriented person. Now, automatically seeing these two, I thought of someone very precise, very meticulous, like Virgo energy. I don't know if some of you might be Virgos, or that's just what I'm getting. Also with the scales, obviously Libra. You might be a very fair and honest person too. Grasshopper, situations in the balance that require careful handling. So balance, that reminds me of the scales again, but careful handling also kind of ties into what I was saying about being a very meticulous, very detail-oriented person. That's what I'm seeing from this. That's a very good trait to have. And we have bear, danger, especially in money matters. So when I think of bears, I think of like mama bears, protective, very cautious when they need to be, especially around things that are important to them. So this card talks about money matters. So you might be very frugal or very careful with your finances, And that's also a really good trait to have. Okay. Resilience. Rise above tribulations. That's also a really wonderful trait to have, being very resilient. I'm noticing there's a staircase, but she's not taking the staircase. She's going her own way. So perhaps some of you may be very unique thinkers. You think outside of the box. And people really admire you for that. You don't just go with what other people say. You look into it and you make your own decisions and your own moves. Some of you might have come from a background where money was very tight, but through hard work and resilience you were able to come out of that situation through your own hard work, which is something so difficult to do. I applaud you for that. And we have letting go. Learn to let go. So, although you might have come from a really difficult situation, something beloved about you is that you're able to let it roll off your back more easily than most people. And rather than seeing it as something that hindered your growth with these butterflies, I see it as you were able to use it to your advantage and to grow from it and transform. Maybe part of that transformation was leaning into your spirituality and trusting your intuition. Yeah, she's got her hand against her ear like she's listening. She's listening to herself. Maybe you were around people that often maybe gaslighted you or your intuition and made you feel crazy for the decisions that you wanted to make. But despite that, you got up and went your own way. But with the scales, I feel that sometimes going your own way out of a situation can be messy and cause destruction. If this is like coming from a really strict family or maybe even a really restrictive relationship, you were able to come out of it without causing disturbance around you. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but you were able to slip out of it without, I don't want to say causing a scene because that makes it sound like it's your fault, which is not what I want to say at all. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. You were able to fly away quietly, if that makes sense. My greatest spiritual shifts don't come through force, they come through freedom. Wow. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. You leaned into spirituality and you let that guide your decisions, as well as you truly starting to listen to yourself. And that's brought you so much growth and blessings, and people notice that. People notice that, well, your most beloved trait, one of your most beloved traits is that you no longer allow other people to make decisions for you, and you don't allow people to manipulate you into no longer trusting yourself. But that sort of trait comes from a very difficult past. That's something we often have to learn through a very difficult time. You're able to break free from the shackles of your past situation, even though it was a very difficult decision to make. And that really set you free, and you were able to do things your way. And you no longer give people that power to take that from you. And that's something so beloved, such a beloved trait about you. You're very strong in your heart, and you don't let people take your power. You're very protective of your energy and your power, like the bear. Yeah, determined. You're determined to get out of that situation or that way of life, and you weren't going to let anyone stop you. What if I gradually calm myself? I think you had every right to be angry in your situation. You had every right to lash out. And maybe in the beginning you might have, but I'm getting that another beloved trait of yours is that you're able to stay calm with the scales. You're able to balance your emotions regardless of the situation. And that's something you've learnt through tough life lessons. Push through any insecurity. So whatever this situation I'm picking up on that really forced you to grow, you really had to trust yourself and listen to yourself. And that's made you into such a strong and confident person and decision maker. And you probably had to do a lot of planning, careful handling, and in turn it's made you into a very detail-oriented and goal-oriented person who you don't cut corners because you couldn't from the very beginning. You had to be very meticulous and very careful. So that sort of spilled out into how you do things now as well. We have Theta of Venus. I'd like to read from the guidebook from that before we get into our tarot cards. And we have compassion, empathy, simpatico, and kindness. So like I said, you probably have every right to be a resentful spiteful person, but instead of allowing the situation around you or the negative people around you change you into that person, you decided that you're not going to let them have power over you anymore. And instead of that hardening your heart, it actually softened it even more, and you're able to hold a lot of compassion and kindness for the people around you. Perhaps because you see yourself in them. And you know what it's like. Now let's look at this Theta of Venus card. It's number 25, so number 7 if we break it down. We have 5, 6, 7. Attune yourself to higher consciousness by choosing to access the purest frequencies of love within. Acknowledge lower frequencies such as judgment, fear, doubt, or shame when they arise within you or around you, but do not give them a foothold in your heart. Isn't that exactly what I was just saying? You are ready for higher understanding, to see things in a new and more positive light. Allow your inner knowing to guide you on a unique path, beautiful and highly spiritual life path. Allow your inner knowing to guide you on a unique, beautiful and highly spiritual life path. So you're not letting you never let the low vibrations around you taint your spirit and your heart. Like, you've always had such a beautiful heart, and you might have not been in situations that supported that, so you made a difficult decision to get out, choose a path that wasn't set out for you or what was expected of you, and that in turn allowed you to really grow and accept that heart within you, that softness. You're very compassionate and kind, and why it's so beloved is that you didn't have to become like this. You had every right not to become like this. You had every right to let those negative energies take that from you, but you didn't. And that strength of heart is something so beloved about you. Oh, pile 1. Let's get some tarot cards. I'm also getting the feeling you must be quite a generous person too, because you probably didn't have everything you needed when you were in your past, but so you know what it feels like to have lack. So now you've become such a generous person because you don't want people to feel the same way as you did, because you're so compassionate. What are Pile 1's most beloved traits? What are Pile 1's most beloved traits? Magician. Everything you have and everything you've learnt, you did by yourself. You worked so hard to get to where you are today, and people can sense your determination, and they admire your skill set and how you've transmuted such negative energy, how you can transmute such negative energy into positive energy. Not everyone can do that. You don't let anything sway your energy. You don't let anyone sway your heart. We have the Four of Cups. Yep. Knight of Wands. You couldn't and you didn't accept how things were. And you rose above it. You wouldn't accept it. I don't allow it. I don't accept this. You have a very strong will. Especially with determined here. You have a very strong, I'm feeling like I'm speaking louder, I'm enunciating. I feel like that's your energy coming through. You won't accept it, and you didn't. And that is just so amazing. And it's such an amazing trait you have. You don't just accept things as they are. If you want to change them, you will. Have the Artist. Pile 1, you might be very good manifestors. Especially with not accepting things as they are, you might be very good at getting, well, obviously you're very good at getting what you want, not because you just ask for it and it's handed to you, but because you work so hard towards it. When you want something, you set a goal, you set a target, and you'll be damned if you don't. I'll be damned if I don't reach that goal, because I'm going to. The Emperor, yep. He stands proudly. He knows what he wants. Enough said. And we have Death here. And that ties in perfectly with the idea that you transmute bad energies into good. If you don't like something, you don't want something, you'll change it. You won't just accept it as it is, and you'll grow it into something even better. Wow, Pile 1, you're so impressive. My goodness. Just move them up a little bit. With the Grasshopper here, you're not afraid of learning. And the Magician, you're not afraid to be bad at something, to become good at something. You need to start. Everyone needs to start somewhere, and you're not afraid to learn. You're not afraid of embarrassing yourself when you're an amateur at something, when you're learning, because you're confident in yourself that you're going to master it. And you don't care what other people think. But this came from a past where you must have needed to be very careful in your surroundings. You probably weren't always as confident in yourself, deep down, you must have known of the power within, but you were in a situation where you weren't allowed to grow, and you got yourself out of there. You're such a determined spirit, Pile 1. I'm so impressed, and I really hope you continue to, well, I know you will continue to be that way. And never let anyone tell you who you are, what you can do, because you can do anything, Pile 1. Your beloved traits, your most beloved trait is how determined you are. When you want something, you'll work hard to get it. And you won't let anyone sway your heart or stand in your way. But you also have a soft heart, open for people that deserve your compassion, deserve your heart, deserve your energy. You're definitely a born leader. I hope that you get everything you wished for, Pile 1. I hope that resonated with you, Pile 1. You're amazing. And I don't need to say this to you because I know you won't, but never give up. Thank you so much for coming to my reading. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any feedback for me, please leave it in the comments below. I'm always willing to learn. And thank you. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 1. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading today about your most beloved traits. So if you picked Pile 2, you picked the Blood Jasper. Now I've written down a couple of its traits. I wasn't sure too much when I went and got these stones. I just picked them with my intuition. So I've written down a couple of things. The Blood Jasper is all about courage. It opens the heart to expression and strength. It promotes creativity. It gives you energy towards your goals, and courage, vitality, and strength. You also picked the Bull. Do not back down from opposition. Show strength and fortitude. I'm going to be shuffling your cards on camera, but if you wish to skip this part, I'll leave the timestamp below. So let's start with the Super Attractor. I'm not going to bother naming all of my decks as I'm shuffling because I use a lot, and I'll just leave them in the description below. Oops, it's too many. Let's just get one. Pile 2's most beloved trait. Pile 2's most beloved traits. What are my Pile 2's most beloved traits? Pile 2's most beloved traits. Just going to hear any shuffling in the background, any rustling, that is my dog. He is sitting on my bed behind me. That sort of actually reminds me of my dog. He reminds me of this bull actually. He's a small dog, but as you know, lots of small dogs, like Chihuahuas, or he's actually a Jack Russell, but he's not afraid of big dogs, and he will have a go at big dogs, even though they would absolutely eat him. So I feel like that really ties in with this bull card. You must be very protective of yourself and of your loved ones, and you're not afraid. You're not afraid to fight, whether that's physically or emotionally. You're not gonna back down. So, what are pile 1's most? Sorry, pile 2. My pile 2's most beloved traits. Pile 2's most beloved traits. Just one, please. Pile 2's most beloved traits. Gonna get some tea leaves. Gonna get 4. Try to get 4. They're a bit difficult to shuffle because they're round, obviously. Pile 2's most beloved traits, please. I'm going to get some tarot cards, but I'm not going to open them until I've laid out all my oracle cards. I'm gonna get 6. What are my pile 2's most beloved traits? I'm going to put these to the side for later. Oh, we've forgotten our mystical wisdom cards. Pile 2's most beloved traits, please. My pile 2's most beloved traits. All right. So pile 2, now we have all of your cards ready. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Quill, get back to basics. Quill also, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Marvel movies, but Quill also reminds me of Quill. He's the main character in the Guardians of the Galaxies. He's very goofy, but he's very protective of the people he loves. He's not afraid of fighting back, but he makes jokes as he does it. So you might be very good at roasting people, or you're very quick-witted. Yeah, the feather is reminding me of the air signs. So perhaps some of you are the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but I'm getting you're very creative and witty in your comebacks or your words, especially when someone's ticked you off. We have the Mule. Someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. It's also a lot of Taurus energy. I don't know if maybe some of you are Taurus. It's not going to apply to everyone, but that's okay. We have tent, temporary situation. And we have dog barking, advice from a friend. So you guys might be very, yeah, like I said, you're very good with your words. You might be very good at giving advice to people. Or you might not like to take advice from people. With the stubborn, I think mostly I'm getting that you're very good at giving advice, especially to your friends, but you might also not take advice from people well, because your way is the highway, pile 2. We have go with the flow, let things happen. I think you might be very good at adjusting. A very good trait of yours is that you're really good at adjusting to situations that change. You might have come from a place where you've had to adapt really quickly. Maybe it's because you moved houses a lot when you were small, or certain situations in your life were very fickle, I'm hearing, but a very beloved trait of yours is that you're able to adapt very quickly to situations. We have 7 deadly sins, humanity's destructive traits. Yeah, I'm thinking that you're very good, especially in what you say, at healing those around you and waking people up. Because I'm seeing there's people with a blindfold. I'm not sure if you can see that. Excuse me. You are definitely a protector. There's people, or there's animals under her feet. I'm also getting that you're able to notice and sense tense and bad situations that others are in before they do. And you might have been in situations where maybe, for example, your friend was in a bad relationship, but they weren't able to see that, and you kind of snapped them awake with how you explained it and how, you know, you opened their eyes to it. You're a very protective friend, I'm hearing. People feel safe around you because they know that you'll never back down. You have assessed the situation. You're not someone that just starts fights to start a fight. Like, you're very, again, like, you're able to notice sort of nuances and energies in the situation that others might not before they do. Almost like an eagle, you have a very sharp eye when it comes to people. You can smell the bull before others might, perhaps. So that might make you a very protective friend or partner or family member. But yes, you don't just fight to fight. I don't think you're an instigator. I think if something happens and you need to step up, that's when you won't back down. You're not someone to just start a fight because you want to start a fight. That's not you. And what if I'm right? Maybe you didn't always trust that intuition of yours about people and the sense you had about certain situations and energies, but after multiple times you were right, you've started to trust that, and that's such an admirable trait. It's a little bit similar to pile 1. You don't let people gaslight you about your opinions anymore. You're like, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, and that's that. And I'm getting that you're pretty much always right about it. Yeah, we have independent. I've got a black cat here. Black cats also remind me very much of psychic protection. So that's sort of tying back to what I was feeling about you you very much intuitively can assess the situation, and you do it quietly. You don't sort of, I'm feeling also Scorpio vibes. You don't always reveal your cards, you don't reveal what you know, but people trust your judgment anyway. The universe is always conspiring to support me, guide me, and lead me compassionately towards the highest good. That's like a little bird there, perched on a branch. He reminds me of Angry Birds. He looks very judgy. But I bet he has every reason to be judgy. He's protecting himself. We have the sun of 417 Hertz. Now, I mentioned in my previous video, but I always like to look at the guidebook for these white light oracle cards, because I do really like how the message ties in really well with the reading. So we'll have a look at that. It's number 16, so 7. And we have burnt by the sun, ambition, extension, reach. Yeah, might be also very competitive, not afraid to compete with others to get what you want. let's have a look in that guidebook. It's number 16. Here we go. You have what it takes. You are a light bearer. Within you is a healing power and spiritual wisdom you can tap into to find your way through any confusion or doubt. Have confidence in yourself and know you are enough. Expect an affirming yes from the universe. Our sun is a self-luminous being. It does not reflect light or energy from other sources, but rather generates its own light. Very independent energy. It is quite literally an enlightened being. The sun is our spiritual mentor, teaching us how to be spiritually self-reliant when we cannot find support or guidance externally and need to go to find it alone. Such phases can be difficult, but they are temporary. And inner spiritual strength is built during such times. Sometimes we don't realize our own strengths until circumstances force us to find out. Yeah. You guys might have definitely been in that sort of situation where you needed to step up. It really forced you to be strong, and there might have been like one event where that sort of changed everything for you. In this oracle, it signifies that no matter what's happening in your life, you've got this. Yes. Now let's look at your tarot cards. We have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands, obviously it looks like a conflict. You're not afraid of conflict. Perhaps you don't like it, but you're not afraid of it, and you're not about to back down. I'm getting that very strongly. That's a very beloved trait of yours, that people can rely on you if they're in a situation, in a maybe a bad situation or a uncomfortable situation, because like the dog, you're very loyal and you will stand with them no matter what. The Nine of Cups, and that's right under ambition and independent. I think everything you have because you worked for it and you never backed down and you never gave up. Three of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, it's feeling a lot like you are who you are today because you went through such difficult times that forced you to stand up, forced a certain part of you out that needed to come out to protect you or protect your loved ones. And now you've sort of culminated it into a big part of you, and people just so appreciate and love that about you. How strong you are and how brave, and I don't want to say unafraid. You're just so courageous, because courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing it in despite of being so afraid, despite of the fear. in spite of the fear. We have Temperance. And we have the Page of Swords. Even though perhaps this very strong, resilient, courageous side of you, aspect of you, came out because of a difficult situation that you had to go through, I'm seeing it didn't overtake everything else. Like, there's a balance to it. Like I said earlier, you're not one to instigate a conflict. A lot of people, this sort of strong, like, I'm not sure, it's a conflict sort of energy. It comes from a place of anger, but for you it's coming from a place of courage and protection. It's coming from a place of love, and because of that you're able to balance that really well and not let your emotions overtake or get out of hand, if that makes any sense. And you're able to wield it in a way that allows you to go for everything you want, without allowing your fear to overtake. Your courage and ambition will, or has already, led you to great abundance. Because you're not afraid of anyone. You're courageous in the face of whatever life throws at you. You always, because you don't let the emotions get in the way, you're able to think critically and assess the situation. Because you're able to think critically, you're able to come up with the best possible way through a situation to get to what you want. The Nine of Cups. Yeah, I'm noticing this mule. Someone is trying to pull him in one direction, but he's not backing down. I see that as you, pal, too. You'll never surrender. I hope that you can always keep this free spirit and strong, courageous energy about you, because it is so beloved with those around you. You're very reliable and trustworthy and so loyal. Such an amazing friend, an amazing partner. Anyone would be lucky to have you. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that resonated, pile 2. If you see any synchronicities, or you have any advice for me, please leave it down below. I'm always willing to learn. I'd love to see what kind of people you are. It's very interesting. Anyway, I hope you liked the reading, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, pile 2. Hi Pal 3s, welcome to today's reading about your most beloved traits. So if you picked the, what is this one? The blue goldstone. This is your reading today. Now, the blue goldstone, I have a couple of notes written down about its traits. It transmits healing energy. It increases self-acceptance. It aids in learning. It's great for empaths, for hypersensitive. And it's good for the heart and the crown chakra. Now, you also picked the dog, protection from a powerful friend. Like part 2, you might also be very loyal friends, very protective friends. Let's get into the shuffling. If you don't like the shuffling process, I'm going to leave a timestamp below if you would like to skip it. That's no worries. But let's get into it, shall we? What are my Power 3's most beloved traits? Power 3's most beloved traits. Power 3's most beloved traits. If you hear any shuffling around in the background, that is my dog. What are my Power 3's most beloved traits? My Power 3's most beloved traits. So my dog just left the room, and it kind of made me think, although you're very, very loyal, perhaps you're not afraid to get out of a situation when you know it's bad for you. So you're loyal, but not to your own detriment. That's what I got just now. Self-preservation is also very important. Being loyal, it doesn't always mean to other people. Being loyal is also important. It's also important to be loyal to yourself as well. What are my Power 3's most beloved traits? Thank you. Power 3's most beloved traits. That's too many. You guys got 2 of those. 3 wanted to come out before, but that was too many, but then 2 insisted on coming out, so you guys have got 2 of those. 3 most beloved traits. Oh, it's too many. And we'll get some tea leaves. We're going to get 4 of these. This one. Get one more. Okay, that one wanted to come out too. You guys are getting a lot of cards. Right, now I'm gonna shuffle the tarot deck, get some tarot cards, but I'm not going to open them until afterwards when I've laid out all of the oracle cards. So we're gonna get 6, hopefully. Who knows with this deck, with this group. And pile 3's most beloved traits, please. Pile 3's most beloved traits. Yep, we got 1 extra, like I was thinking. All right. Going to set these aside. So pile number 3. Now that we have all your cards ready, let's have a look at the message about your most beloved traits. We have pale. Time to get out of a situation. Oh my goodness. If you watch the shuffling, I mentioned as I was shuffling, my dog left the room, and I said, although you must be a very loyal friend, it's not to your own detriment. Like you won't be loyal to a fault, and you're not afraid to leave a situation if it's not good for you. We have success. Beautiful. Also, if I forgot to read this, it says dog. Protection from a powerful friend. Tankard. Celebration, fun, and enjoyment. My pal 3s know how to have fun. Wow, this one came out in pile 2. You might want to watch pile 2 as well, but this is Mule. Someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. We have August. I haven't had a month of the year come out yet in my previous piles, so I'm not sure how that's going to tie in, but I guess there's only one way to find out. And Torch. Spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. Okay. We have Dolphin with Don't Worry, Be Happy. I think something very beloved about you is that you're very charming and charismatic, and you know when to have fun and when to be serious. There's some people that kind of don't know how to read a situation and don't know when to stop being goofy and fun, but for you, I'm getting this idea that you know exactly when to act certain ways. So you know how to read a room. You're very aware of the situation. And we have competition, summon courage, and self-confidence. Yeah, it's very similar to pile 2, especially with the dog here. I'm getting that, like this tiger, you can be very protective when you need to be, but you also know when to loosen up and have fun. And what if I choose to forgive? Number 1. You've probably been in situations that were really toxic and bad for you, and you got out, like I said earlier, you're not afraid to take yourself out of a situation or out of relationships when you need to, but you also don't hold it against people. You don't hold grudges because you're aware of the human condition, I'm hearing, and you know everyone makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Yeah, you don't hold grudges. You forgive, but you don't forget. Manifesting is the creative process of aligning with the energy of the universe and co-creating an experience that elevates my world and the spirit of the world. That's gorgeous. We have indecisive with throne. We have the quarter moon in Leo with be humble. With this throne and this be humble, I'm getting the idea that, again, you're very charming and you're very, very likable, but you're also very humble. Like, you don't let it get to your head, and you're not showy off. You're not showy off. Showy offy. You're not a show off. You know, you can laugh at yourself. And people really love that about you. You're very strong in your sense of self, but you're not afraid to laugh at yourself as well. We have another tiger. Look at that. With 33. I'm not going to try and pronounce that because I don't want to offend anyone. I like the 3s. Let's look in the guidebook once we open these 2 cards. Just thinking of how I'm going to... I think we have to move some cards, guys. Let's move them up. The torch is also reminding me of the Ace of Wands. It's a very creative energy. You guys might be creatives as well. Apologies, pile 3, I'm just moving things around to try and get everything to fit. Yeah, you're definitely a competitive person, but when you win, you're very, you have a good sportsmanship. You're very humble. And that's something people really admire about you. Let's put her over here. Actually, before I open these, I want to read this one, number 33. Oh, I think I see a pronunciation. Yeshi Sogyal. Yeshi Sogyal. That's the card. You shall overcome all obstacles. Success is imminent, so stay connected to your path no matter what, and continue to apply yourself. Allow your spiritual path to support you in all areas of your life. Live by your spiritual beliefs. Seek out the support of your spiritual brothers and sisters for help when needed, but also trust that you are intimately and directly connected to the powerful divine light within. There can be a dramatic healing breakthrough when you rely upon your spiritual connection. The Oracle of the Yeshi Sogyal 333 against empowerment and healing by assuming a confident attitude and taking steps forward. It indicates that a negative time is drawing to a close and encourages commitment to the task of overcoming negativities through spiritual practices suited to you. It does not matter if you feel like a beginner or uncertain of how to meditate. For example, Yeshi Sogyal became enlightened because she made progress one step at a time, attracting the right teachers and guides to assist her. You have the precious gift of such a path. It is good karma to have such a path, and it creates further good karma when you pursue it. Truly, you are a light worker. Embrace it and live it. Now, we have love conquers all, enduring loyalty, eternal love, and lasting commitment. Yeah, path 3, you must be very loyal people. Not just to people and relationships, but to yourself and to the things you pursue. You're not one to give up easily. And when you decide what you want, you charge forward and achieve it. No matter how long it takes. Yeah, with the donkey. You pull weight as far as it needs to be pulled. Now this one came out in pile 2 as well. I highly recommend, if you feel drawn to pile 2, you should watch pile 2 because it's a very similar message. Ambition, extension, reach. We've got very ambitious viewers today. Now let's look at the tarot cards. We have the Page of Pentacles. Hello. It's my dog, he's back. Comment down below if you have a dog or a cat, any pets, and tell me about them. I'd love to know what their names are and what they're like. You might also be very good with animals. I'm just gonna put that out there. I have the 3 of Swords. This also came out in pile 2. We have the 8 of Cups. We have the 6 of Cups. You have the Eight of Wands. The Moon. The Page of Swords. And the King of Cups. I'm seeing a very good balance of emotion and practicality when it comes to making decisions. You're not one to ignore your emotions, but you're also not one to let it take over you when you're making certain decisions. So if this was about maybe leaving relationships with friends or lovers behind because it wasn't good for you, it came with a lot of introspection and processing your emotions, as well as the practical aspect of it. Is this actually good for me? Is it helping me grow? Is it hindering my growth? You're good at making decisions that are very difficult. But not because it's easy for you, but because you take a lot of time to think about it and really weigh out the options and outcomes and what's best for you, and not just for you, but for everyone else as well. And with the Eight of Wands, once you make a decision that you know is for the highest good, you run towards it. I'm seeing with the Moon here, you're very introspective, but you're also able to understand others and why other people make certain decisions. And that's such a beloved trait of yours, because you're able to resonate and understand a lot of people. So in that sense, you're very inviting. People aren't afraid to express to you their thoughts, how they're feeling, their opinions, because they know you're not going to judge them harshly, and that your opinions and your advice are coming from a good place. You're someone with really good intentions, and people see that about you. You're not one to rush a decision or make a selfish decision. You like to weigh out all of your options, and you try to make the decision best for everyone. And when you can't, when it hurts you to make decisions that will hurt other people, but as loyal as you are to other people, you're also very loyal to yourself. So you're not about to sacrifice your self-loyalty for someone else's comfort. Yeah. Perhaps in August, someone might be coming into your life that will be on the same sort of wavelength as you in that sense, and you're going to get along with them really well, I'm seeing. You might have recently had to leave a friendship group behind or a relationship behind because it wasn't good for you, and it took a lot for you to come to that decision, but I'm seeing that you're going to be rewarded with, maybe in August or 8 weeks, 8 days, 8 months from now, you're going to be rewarded with a new friendship, a new relationship that's going to make it all worth it, and that you're going to have lots of fun. And maybe this is someone that's going to help you towards some ambition or goal that you have, and you're going to work together, and it's going to be it's going to make it a lot easier and more enjoyable for you. Yeah. I think someone is coming into your life soon that will understand you and will really appreciate you as you are, and will be just as loyal to you as you are to them. I hope that resonated, pile 3. I so enjoyed reading for you. If you have any advice, any feedback, please comment down below. I'm always willing to learn, and I really hope to see you in the next video, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye, pile 3.